I will start by calling the meeting to order. And item number 2 is disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. Seeing none. Item 3 is the adoption of our previous minutes dating back from February the 3rd. And you had the minutes submitted to you. Was there any errors or omissions that we need to bring to the committee's attention?
No.
Okay. Seeing none, I would accept a motion to approve. Moved by Harris and seconded by Mary Ann. There's no further comments. I'll call the question. All in favor? Now, I know Kimberly's around here somewhere. We'll say that's approved unanimously. She can hear us. I know she can. Okay. Item number 4, business arising from the previous minutes. And I'm going to start, just because Kimberly is not there, with an update from CIB National, item 4B. So our application has gone in and they received it. We have a total cost of $1,500 to participate in this year's program. So we need to get a motion to approve the $1,500 for our participation fee.
I make a motion to pay the $1,500 so we can join.
Motion by Barb for approval, second by Cindy. Okay, is there any questions on our enrollment fee at all? No? Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? And that is carried. So Casey, if I could ask if you could send that off as soon as possible, as I know it's time sensitive. I'm sure they're not going to hit the panic button if it's a day or two late, but if we get that into finance, that'd be great. Thank you so much for that. So in conjunction with getting our fee paid, there's also an application. I'm happy to just do, like, beyond our application, there's a to-do list. What I might do is, for those of you that are new and haven't seen I think this is a great learning opportunity for everyone. What I'm looking to do this time around, normally I just do it, but I think that this is a great opportunity now to start having everyone else just have their opportunity to learn what's involved in this as we continue to grow as a committee and new members coming on board, just so that everyone can at least understand what it takes from start to finish, because there is quite a bit involved in a judging component. Many of us take a section and run with it, which has always worked. But I think for some of, like I say, for Linda, Cindy, Mary Ann, to walk through this process with us from start to finish, I think there's great value, just so that everybody is aware, and going forward, there's an opportunity to delegate for others to take on those roles. So with that, I will, after we're here today, I'll forward to everyone the to-do list, and I might actually ask if, I don't have it in front of me right now, but I could ask if someone wants to take on certain roles to help me complete it. Like I say, it's not a significant amount of work, but it's work nonetheless. So all that to say that I think it's a great opportunity. Yeah, Kimberly.
Brad, what's the deadline? I missed that. Sorry, I had to step out for a minute.
Yeah, it's usually sometime. I'll find it, but it's not looming. It's not like the application for the Miracle Grow, which is tomorrow. So
Okay.
yeah,
I can remember what it was. So okay.
Yeah. So
Yep. No, that's cool.
I'll forward it off to everyone so we can see it.
Okay.
It's how do I put this? The CIB knows that the information is pretty much the same from year to year with a few modifications. So and they know that we've been in it since day one, so they don't ever, I shouldn't say they don't worry about Stratford, but they know that they'll get it. So
Okay.
yeah, we've got
Okay.
some. Yeah. Okay. So again, we've got the application in. We've approved the enrollment fee. I'm going to send off the to-do list for moving forward, and we'll start the process of getting ready for the judges. I put in. They asked if there was a preferred date. I said that we're pretty open. Again, trying to be as flexible as possible for CIB National, because again, this year is still a bit of a wonky year, for lack of a better word. And as I always say, we're always ready. We don't need to shine up our city. Our city always looks good. But I did say that I always like that last week of June, personally myself, as that's when everything really shines and the flower beds and everything looks great. And Quinn likes that time as well from his standpoint. So I put that in, but again, we're flexible. So we'll wait and see when they come out with the dates. We'll know more probably, I guess, early May when the judges will be coming. Okay, so Kimberly, we'll go back to 4A. Update on the CIB webpage. Is there anything new at all to report on that, or is it same right now?
Yep, it's the same. I did ask him to update the our new name to Garden Flame. So I think that's been done. I didn't check the website. And then I was going to, after, depending on what happens today with the event, then I was going to ask him to start promoting that.
Okay.
As well. And then also about spring cleanup, but we can have a conversation about that for the upcoming, the new business thing. So.
Okay.
It's going to be April 23rd with the upper Thames.
So it's a go for sure, Bonnie,
Well,
in person.
the emergency order is still on until March the 12th. So it depends what that happens. But if once the emergency order is done, Todd Sleeper got a hold of me, and I think one of the other ones is doing it the 16th. And I had been telling everybody the last Saturday of the month, but he's suggesting the 23rd, which makes sense. It's the day after Earth Day. But
Okay, no, it sounds good. Then I'll put something together.
Bank does theirs on the Friday, so that they
Okay.
use downtown.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just doing an administrative comment here right now. It appears as though I've lost Casey.
Okay, yeah.
Does anybody else see, or is it just me that everybody else sees that Casey's departed? Okay, so this is a great time to talk. No, I'm just,
It's still being, Brad, it's
I-
still being recorded.
yeah, I understood. Yes, we are still being recorded, which is great, so that Casey can capture anything that we miss or that
That's right.
he's missing right now. So I'm going to continue to chair the meeting, and I know that any motions that we make are being recorded here, but we'll just be mindful that Casey is currently not with us. Okay. Item C is Garden of Hope update. Barb, how are things in the garden?
Okay, the Garden of Hope has blue and yellow lights on it, and part of the Ukraine. I'm hoping to have a very impromptu time, probably tomorrow, because the weather is good. It's not supposed to snow anymore today or tomorrow, so it'll be a good time to just have a time where people can come, where we're going to light up the stairs with a few candles. And Cindy and I have been working on putting some sunflower seeds in, in some hope envelopes to hand out, because they are the national flower of Ukraine. So I was just thinking of just putting out something today, because we don't want a mass amount of people. I walked over there yesterday and it was pretty icy. Now we've had snow on top of that. So I did talk to Quinn, and the issue is if, it's ice, so it's not like they can just take it away. But if we get him to salt it, it would be okay, I think. So are people okay if we just do that under the umbrella of Communities in Bloom, since that garden is our baby?
And this is just a personal opinion, this isn't a council opinion, just a personal opinion. I see no reason why the Garden of Hope can't be an inspiration for global hope. And I think it's actually a wonderful idea of sharing sunflower seeds. Plant a seed. We use that expression a lot. I'm just planting a seed. Well, maybe planting the seed of hope will help in our own little small way. Global hope. So I think it's a great idea, Barb and Cindy, for putting those packages together.
And again, they're left over from last year, so it didn't cost us anything. I've got enough sunflowers, from the package we were given from, like it's a huge package that'll last us for years, and the seed should still be viable. So I'm going to pick up some candles then. I'm just going to put it out there, and we don't want a huge amount of people, but I know there's people in Stratford Life who've been saying, is Stratford going to do anything where we can come together? Yeah. And with the bill on, we have to be careful how we do that. So if we just say for an hour, the lights are on the bridge anytime from 6 to 11. So if they want to go at a different time, they're more than welcome to do that. So when I was talking to Quinn, one of the health and safety committees was asking if they could light up the bridge in their colors during their special week. So I think the bridge can become a, kind of revolve around other, other causes that, where there's hope. So.
And I'll bring this up, and I always hate making things more complicated than they need to be, but I wonder if, Barb, this is just a quick communication, because it is city property. Just
okay.
to ensure that if there is any policies or procedures regarding city property or city-owned property, whether it's reaching out to Mike Bites and just getting a confirmation that there isn't any concerns with any.
Well, I'm sure too, like, people are going there to gather at it. Yeah, because Quinn didn't see any problems with us just putting it out there and letting people walk around, and candles didn't seem to be an issue because everything's cement. And
nor do I, that I get personally, but I think maybe if we could just get confirmation or clarification that, obviously no one's going to have the issues with our yellow and blue. That's a global sport. But in terms of any one-offs, I think just to make sure that we're okay.
Yes, be controversial too. Yeah, so you gotta,
If you wouldn't mind, just maybe reaching out to I think Mike would probably be the first person I'd reach out to. I don't know, Bonnie, do you think I'm going to ask, do you think that that's probably the best person to start off with?
I think so, and maybe might not hurt to call the fire department just to check with the candle idea.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm not sure.
We don't even have those, but I think
the pumpkin parade, we don't even worry about it too much, Bonnie. So
they would just
but we put the candles in pumpkin parade. You don't know what people are going to bring, right? Like when we used to take back the night, I had candles here and I would bring the candles, right?
Yeah, I was just going to get tea lights and put them on the stairs. So I just won't put it out there to bring your own candle, but they may.
Yeah, I think if you don't, if you don't ask people to bring it, hopefully they will. And it'll just be the ones that you provide on.
They could light on their cell phones nowadays too. It just would be nice in the dark. And I have these bags to put the tea lights in, and they've got pea stubs on them. So I would put those on the stairs. So there isn't a need for a whole lot.
Right.
The tea lights are pretty reasonable. I think $6.
Well, we have those tea lights that don't have candles. I wonder if they're still working.
Well, I got in touch with MJ, but she was going to check if we had any left from the pumpkin parade, but I haven't heard. I'll contact her too.
Okay, so Barb, you're just gonna post that on your own personal.
Yeah.
And then we'll all share it from there.
And I could ask Mike Betts if he wants to.
Okay.
Again, it's going to be quick, so you're not going to get a mass amount of people, but we don't want a mass.
Yeah, I was going to say that's okay.
And then they're able any night between 6 and 11, so it opens up the the door. The other thing about the Bridge of Hope, somebody stole our globe of lights
Ooh.
with, yeah.
That's so awful.
Yeah. So-
Barb, I hate to be that person that says this. It surprised me it lasted as long as it did.
Oh, yeah, I was just glad it lasted for the whole Festival of Light. Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but I mean, I know what happened to Seabeck's lighting that we had on Tom Patterson Island. It seems unless there's security present at all hours,
Yeah.
it's gone. So
You know, I wonder if we should get the Beacon to run a little article, and because that's a unique piece.
It's unique. There's no other
So
one
if
like,
somebody saw it at their house, they, you know, say one of the kids or something brought it home. They
yeah,
would know then. Like, I remember one year, I think there was something like, I forget.
or the
I
snowflake.
want to say 2,000 lights stolen off Tom Patterson Island from our lights, right? But it never happened after that. I
Mm.
don't know whether it was because of we put it in the paper and maybe people talk to their kids. I don't know, but
The snowflake light went missing. Remember one of them? And then it did show up and they didn't put it back up on the lamppost. They
well,
just
there's
left it.
actually two of them, but we put a thing in the paper about it. Next thing you
Okay.
know, they're beside the post. But I mean, they were unique too, right? So
Okay, well, I will contact the Beacon.
thank you. Item D, cleanup on Foreman Ave. Cindy, I've got your name down for this.
Yeah, I'll talk to I'll talk to Christine about it. I've been away, but I have to talk to her about something else as well, so I'll mention it because she's sort of in charge of the environmental. So she and I did discuss it. So I think that she'll get a group of her environmental club to do something about it.
So I'm just curious, I haven't been in the neighborhood recently. Now that the, life, for lack of a better word, is back to as normal as it's gonna get, has it been reasonably?
I haven't been here, so I haven't been on my daily walk, but I was planning to go this afternoon, so I'll have a look. With the snow, the only thing I saw were masks.
And that's everywhere.
Yeah, and that's everywhere. I didn't see as much Subway or pizza, but then the kids weren't there, were they? Because they were back online. So now they're back at school.
Yeah,
so
That's what I mean, now that it's just
Yeah.
recent, right? So I just wasn't sure if there was a.
Yeah, I'll do a check today.
Okay.
And then
Well-
I'll contact Christine.
Maybe it's hope for the best, right?
Yeah, it would probably be good to do something, well, maybe around Earth Day or, when the snow starts to melt, then have a group of kids go out and do something then.
What about the garbage can contest? Can some of the garbage cans go along Foreman? Wouldn't that help?
are they doing it this year, Brad? You know,
You know
There's-
what? Is Karis here to jump in? Karis? Karis, there she is.
Yeah, I am. Sorry. I've just got to have a conversation with somebody.
We were just inquiring, do you happen to have any information at all about garbage cans at all? Garbage can decorating? Group?
Right now, I haven't talked to MJ about it, but I can. I don't think we would start till September, but that's a long ways away, and I can't see why not.
No, I just wasn't sure if it was continuing or if they had, continued to be on pause or what the.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea that we look at it. So let me reach out to MJ and see if we want to kick up again, okay?
Sure. And then the existing cans, Karis, the existing ones that we have
Yeah.
they go in storage during the winter time, correct?
Yeah, they do.
And so when they come out, I guess that was a question, is if there's an opportunity to maybe put some of them in the circ.
Yeah. The only thing is some of them, they're not kept because they're really damaged. So I don't know what Quinn has, and we order new ones through him each year, then we can paint too.
Okay.
So there may be some left, but he may have checked quite a few of them as well.
Okay, we'll put that on our new biz or our business for next time, just to follow up on that then.
Yeah, and I will follow up with MJ and just see if we can restart the committee, okay?
Sure. Right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, on to item E, the 2022 projects, which brings us to our first one. Well, maybe not first in chronological, but first one that we've been talking about is our spring fling at the agricultural the market. So I have reached out to them and have the paperwork. It's just a one-pager that I'll fill out and send in. So the initial, and just so everybody knows, last year there was a bit of a communication up, and I'm hopeful that by going through directly with the Horticulture Society and staff there, that this should be very clear. So I have that paperwork, I'll fill it out and have that submitted. So I guess now that we've got confirmation of the date and location, and it's just a matter of putting together all the finer details of what we would like to be offering, and then, you know, being able to share that on the various social media channels. I'd say it's that simple.
Yeah, Bernie's his canna lilies ready. He's got a lot. He's been working really hard, so I'm sure he will donate some to that. And also the sunflower seeds that'd be another opportunity to hand those out then.
Right. And
Where are they having it, Brad?
at the farmers market, right where we had it last year.
Oh, okay.
And are we doing a slow market as well?
So I did not reach out to the slow market. That's
Oh,
very
that's right. All right.
I did, and I was in touch with a lady named Natalie. She didn't think it would be a problem. They're still working on the details for the upcoming slow market, but she's going to let me know hopefully next week what we need to do. And I assume she basically gave me the impression it's absolutely not a problem. So she'll let me know what she needs in terms of paperwork. No cost was advised. So.
great. And same thing with the market. There's no costs associated with this. Yes, Kimberly.
So what does everybody think about focusing on kids, right? On, you know, making sure that there's something that they can take away that would tell them about gardens or about not necessarily communities in bloom, but just to kind of get them interested in gardening. Because last year when we did it at the market, the kids seemed to be really engaged, and Bernie did a great job of talking to everybody. So if there's something that, should we be looking at something specific for little people?
We usually craft every year. Last year we didn't, just because we were trying to keep things simple.
Yeah.
So that is certainly something we can talk about at next meeting and see if there's something we've done where they've painted little wood flowers or ladybugs or butterflies, or so something to take home and make them think about the gardens, or seeds. They plant a seed and take it home, or yeah.
Okay, and so then Barb, if which is more engaging out of your ideas that you've done before or you'd like to do for this year? And
Well,
simple.
Painted a plant pot and put seeds in it, so that kind of they're growing, but they're also doing a little bit of a craft, so it makes it their own.
Okay.
Doing something tied to that.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't
Does
usually
that-
like, usually it's just a nice, if you come along and you've got something to offer, if there are children. Like last year at the market, there weren't a whole lot of kids, probably
No.
because they were all hiding, but as they come, yeah, it's nice to have something for them.
Well, because I was kind of thinking that if we really wanted to hype, you know, up our involvement there, now that the restrictions are lessening, we could do like a save the date, right? We could start now and do save the date. Here we are. This is where we're going to be, you know, bring your kids, like do that, something like that, right? Just to kind of get Mike to maybe every couple of weeks, send something out until the event and try to create some hype around it. And then if we can all follow that on or post it on our own pages, then that would be beneficial. And then maybe we could even get if the Beacon Herald would be willing to do something about it, right? If we can tie it into the Garden of Hope with the bridge and you know, and starting up spring, as well as, you know, with the Upper Thames doing cleanup, and maybe we could get them to do a little bit of an article on all of those things that are really talking about, you know, what we're doing for this season, and especially with Communities in Bloom with the judging too, because isn't it's the year of the garden, right? So if we could put something together for that, maybe Mike could even do like we could maybe set up a press release or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking about just ways to get people, one, to come to the market, but also to improve our exposure. And especially if we're able to be at the slow food market, then that's two completely different demographics potentially that we would be able to get our name and face out in front of. That's all.
Yeah, the Horticultural Society just got in touch with me. They had sent a Year of the Garden proclamation to City Council, and we did that as well. So that just that's good that we're showing the same interest. So if we went it under the topic of Year of the Garden and getting kids involved, yeah, I think it would be a great idea.
Okay, Linda.
Have they ever tried a like a coloring sheet and just a small packet of crayons for the children to take away and color? I don't know whether somebody would have them that they give away, like a garden center, or whether the paper would print one and they could bring along to color or something like that.
And they're not that expensive. Bought things in the past.
Okay. Just a thought.
I wonder if because we had our association with Home Hardware, if Gruna Stage Home Hardware would be up to maybe doing some kind of donation towards that, right? But I don't know, Brad, if that's even applicable, because the fact that I don't know what's the national relationship like with Home Hardware these days? Is it on now?
I have to double check. I do not believe Home Hardware is.
They're not our national sponsor anymore.
They're not? Okay,
No,
it's just
no.
Scott's? Is it just Scott's?
And I want to say Mark's.
Hmm.
Well, Mark's is part of Canadian Tire, right?
So I have to review all the major sponsors. I should know that off the top of my head, but I don't. So let me clarify that. Or alternatively, everybody's got the passwords now that you can do it yourself now. You can go on the CIB national website, and it all have, I believe that got sent to everyone, has the login password for CIB
Casey
national.
sent that, so.
Yeah, so we can all, you can just grab that information. So, okay, before I forget, besides the fact that we just do amazing work as a committee and as a city, something else that we do a good job of is telling our story. When I think about why the project that we submitted last year was chosen as being the best, it is because we told that story very well. And I think it's becoming more and more prevalent. Judges, they don't really like, it's not that they don't like, but to go through a profile book takes a lot of time. To hear a story is interesting. To see a story is much more compelling. So to that end, photos and videos are really, really, really important. And so when we look at this year's competition, there's lots of work that our city does leading up to when the judges arrive. So, the spring fling, obviously, what I'm doing is I'm reaching out to everybody because I'll forget, and I'm saying, okay, everybody, remember to grab your cameras, and put it not only in picture mode but on video mode, and let's capture this. And then once you have content, it's easy to whittle it down. But if we don't have content, we've got nothing. So I always say the more content, the better. Yeah, Kimberly.
Can I make a suggestion? Because sometimes life gets in the way and we kind of forget about these things, as you pointed out. Is it possible that if somebody knows of a student that needs community service hours that also likes to do stuff like that, we just engage them and have them do it? It would be so much easier and so much faster.
Agreed. And I would say I have a person that I'm directly related to that's very good with video and editing and photography and drones and all that good stuff. It's just whether he's available to always be at events that we're at, to say here is some content. He's able to take it and make it in a 15-second clip. But to your point, Kimberly, if there was a student that was looking for hours, that would be great. I just know Brock, as much as he loves doing all of it, his availability to be at all these things isn't a reality. So so there's two things. Either we can find a student who's looking for volunteer hours and wants to grab that content, or alternatively, if any of us happen to just have our camera out and capture, that's always helpful, because it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be just capturing the moment. Yeah,
And
Linda?
Fred, nice those of photos too. So if we
Yeah.
can collect them, got a lot of nice photos too, and just putting it into a package.
Yeah, Linda?
I still,
Has Brock
I still
got
want
a
to-
friend? Has Brock got a friend that's interested in the same thing?
I would say all his friends are similar. They're doing co-op placements at very interesting places like Google or Facebook, wherever. So, yeah, Kimberly.
Cindy, do you know Mr. Crumbach at Stratford District?
Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah, just because he's the guy who runs the him and Mr. Wilson. No, what's the other guy's name? I can't remember. But
It's
they're the ones who
Andrew. Yeah.
they run the AV, like the technology
Yeah.
program, right, for that? Because I'm sure there's got to be students who are looking for community service hours, right? And if we could give them 10 plus hours, it would help them with their 40 hours. Just a thought. Right.
Yeah, we could reach out. I know, I know Glenn. I just haven't contacted him in 3 years now, but he used to help, so I could contact him.
Yeah, that would be great.
That's a good idea. I was thinking of that too. Like the tech department at Stratford. Yeah.
It's just, as long as, I hate saying it, there's always a time constraint on this.
Yes.
As a judges come, we need to have it done, and we need to have it done quickly. So as long
Yeah.
as we make that commitment.
Mhm.
Okay, so just an idea.
The other thing about the pictures, like all the pictures, Fred sent us a ton of pictures for the website, and we have all of those pictures still. So I don't know where we need to send them in order to put them into the book.
So good question. And let's put a pin on that, Kimberly.
Oh, I have an idea.
Okay.
Can we
love that.
do, and I don't know if the city has this or not, is if we have a Dropbox, we could put everything into the Dropbox. And I do have a Dropbox account. I just have to make it bigger, because right now my Dropbox account is really small. And we could dump pictures and stuff in there.
Great idea.
That's a good
But
idea.
if the city has one though, it would be so much easier because I don't have to spend any money. So
And a good question for which I don't know the answer. I'm looking at Bonnie. She's kind of shaking her head.
I've never heard of that, but Mike might probably be the one to ask.
I was going to say the same thing. Probably if anyone had one, Mike would have one.
Good idea, Kimberly.
okay, I'll send him a message right now and ask him.
The item, sorry, just in terms of events, Bonnie, you mentioned April 23rd is the cleanup day.
Right.
So that, in terms of, we don't have much involved with that. As
No.
CPD.
But I just wanted Kim to be aware that was the date, because
Right.
I wasn't
And-
sure what she was doing.
Yeah, and again, nothing that we have involved with, but I'm going to share this with the committee and whoever happens to watch this video recording. April 3rd is the planned or scheduled date for the Swan release. Again, it is not planned to be an extravagant event. So the swans over the last 2 years have gone out without being of any fanfare. We didn't even let the public know when they were going out. This year we are sharing this very, not openly, but just a matter of information. It's on the community board outside the Alma Arena that the Swan Parade is always the first Sunday in April. So sticking to that tradition, the first Sunday in April this year is Sunday, April the 3rd. And in consultation with Quinn, that is a date that we're going to proceed with. Should Mother Nature not throw us any curveballs, and if the lake is still frozen, then we'll find a different date. But if all goes well, that will be the date that the swans will be released. But we're not in a position that we want to have busloads of visitors coming to Stratford for this, because at this point we're just, as a community, I don't know if we're ready for that. So, and as a as an organization, I just would rather just have it be a year of transition, for lack of a better word. So just to put that on your calendar, Sunday, April 3rd is the proposed swan release. So as we're talking about April dates. As we said, May, we have the spring fling.
Garden fling.
Sorry?
Garden fling.
Garden fling, sorry. I'm going back to Karis in my my
Gotta get used to saying it.
This rolls off the tongue real well. When are we going to go back to doing the spring fling? Anyways, that's just no, Karis, you don't. No spring fling, no. June is likely, the end of June is likely going to be the judging, and again, that's to be determined. But now I'm going to open it up to the committee to see, between now and the judging day, there's always so much work that needs it. So it's been a while since we actually had to do it. So I'm taking pause because I don't want to put too much between now and the judging, but it's after the judging that we have opportunity as a committee to do our good work. But I just wanted to open it up again for discussion.
What's involved? I've never been involved in the judging before.
You know what? Good question, Linda, because I believe that there will be some changes this year. I think that, again, there's been, over the last couple of years, it's not normal. And what the judging process looks like, I'm guessing will be different. And what they're judging or what they place priorities on, I believe is changing. So once I have the judging criteria, I will forward that off to the committee. I have it on my to-do list here, is to get that out, is the judging criteria. And I'm going to guess that it won't take much for us to change gears and be ready for what this looks like. But it will take some work. So once we have all our information in front of us as to how we want to showcase Stratford, we will divvy up the work and get ourselves ready. Yes, Kimberly.
So where are they going to stay?
So we haven't reached out to any organized or any hotel to ask for a place to stay. Right now, I don't know when they're coming, but we could reach out and do some preliminary asks. At the last judging that we had in Stratford, they stayed at the Bruce Hotel, but that was a couple of years ago.
So I wonder if we should be, just kind of potentially picking nice places and making that call. I mean, I know that the Bruce Hotel really discounted the rate, and I would anticipate that most of our hotels are hoping to be full with the relaunch of the festival. So unless there's a special like bed and breakfast place or that kind of thing that they could stay at, like, I mean, there's the Stone Maiden Inn, which is close to downtown, which they could walk around if they wanted to. And then there's the Perth County Inn too, right? But I don't know if, if Bruce Whitaker is already booked. And then there's Edison's downtown too. Like if we're looking for something like that, or if we want to be in an actual, like a bigger hotel or something to offer them more amenities. You
It's
know
in-
what, maybe the parlor, I don't know if Shelley and Bill Windsor would be open to sharing out their space
Mhm.
at a discount, because they're part of the Best Western, right? They're the Best Western exclusive or something I saw the other day when I was walking by.
Once we know who our judges are too, I say this quietly, some judges, they put in requests, they
Mhm.
don't necessarily like to stay at a breakfast or whatever, and they'll say, if I have the option, I would prefer to stay at, or some are saying, I don't care where you put me as long as I've got a bed, right? Some of the judges are really good, but again, not knowing until we're provide the details of who's judging at our category. I think you're right, though, that to start that process, Kimberly, is probably not a bad idea. Just to maybe put together a short list of whether it's a bed and breakfast or hotels, of ones that we might want to reach out to. I'll be honest, I've never had a hotel or a bed and breakfast that we've asked not give us a reasonable price for our judges. It's something that they've always been happy to do. So we've been very fortunate that way. And it's Stratford.
Yeah, who wants to,
Dates.
who should be on the short list? Any ideas?
We can always go back to who we've asked in the past, or we can ask new ones, right? Like, it's just like restaurants. Sometimes depending on how we want to do it, right? If we want to just have quiet moments for the judges to speak specifically to, and that's where
But the English parlor, well, I still call it the English parlor, they have beautiful rooms.
Mhm.
So do you
And
want?
it's right downtown, across from the liquor store, and
Close to City Hall, close to Market Square, right? So they're all in those good spots.
Gareth?
Because then there's also,
I know in
like,
the
if you wanted to have
past,
a quiet dinner too, right? Because they have a meeting room that you can book. So
like in the past, we've kind of waited to see who is coming and then kind of
Program director.
gauged the program according to those. Like we kind of know what they like if they've been before, or we find out a little bit about them.
Yeah.
So, and then I think we could maybe assess where they should stay according to that.
Agree. I always use Ted as the example. I don't know if people realize Ted was not a lover of bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
He liked his hotels. And if the judges, if you're a community, you didn't know that, you kind of fell short, right? Give Ted a hotel room. It doesn't have to be fancy, but he just likes his own place. He didn't like sharing a house with other people. So your point is clearly made, Karis. Is once we know who's coming, planning around that, it's something that we do very well, is tailoring our program according to the judges and what they're looking for. It just adds that special, what makes us, unique, I guess. Mary, did I see your hand up, or was it just a thought? That,
You did see my hand up. The other hotel I was thinking of is the Stratford Hotel, but then as I heard, talk about the parlor and having meeting rooms, I know that Connie and George don't have anything like that. They do have nice rooms, and they're large rooms, but they don't have some of the facilities that obviously the Bruce and the parlor do. So I took my hand.
all good ideas. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so again, once we get some more clear details, and it shouldn't take us long to get that information, we can start to narrow down where is it, there's good fits and then there's better fits. What is, going to showcase Stratford the best for the judges, so we can work towards that. Sorry, a couple of things I just wanted to circle back on when we talk about 2022. The pollinator pathway, for example, Barb, is there an opportunity for us to continue this program? What does that look like? How do we, start putting this together so that the community is aware? This is something that Communities in Bloom is doing this year. Again, I always like to, I put telling the judges what we've done. So when they come in June, July, we can showcase all the things that we've done, but then it's also, this is what we've got planned for later this year, so they can kind of get a snapshot of everything that we do throughout the year. And again, there's lots that we do. It's just how can we showcase it the best. So
I
I did,
applied for a grant for $10,000 worth of trees, but we didn't get it. It was before Christmas. Usually that project too, it's really good for using leftover money before the end of the year because you can plant in the fall. So especially in a judging year, we never know how much money is going to be left. So.
obviously the big one, and something that I'll say, I'll take my, mea culpa. The garden design is still a very big initiative that we'll continue to move forward on. But in terms of getting that beyond just the conversation hasn't taken place yet. Mind you, it's pretty tough when there's still 6 inches of snow on the ground. But we will definitely have that as one of our major projects to be able to at least use it as a starting point. And again, it's all about, we only have so many dollars, and getting the design is one thing. It's just where do we go from the design? So once we have that, I think that'll open up further discussion as to things that we could do. And
Scott Wentworth reached out to our committee. He's the one who's doing the design.
Yeah.
Like, when was the last time he contacted us? Because I know in the fall and said, oh, let's do it before the snow flies, and then the snow flew and we didn't
get to it. So
yeah.
That was the last of it. So that's why I'm getting, it really doesn't make sense for him to come to Stratford when it's, still 6 inches of snow on the ground, but hopefully we can get it here in early spring that we can have him come to Stratford and put together some work for a design. So
would you like out to Scott? I've got his contact information, and just
if you want to take that
I think we need to get a move on that. Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
Okay.
We did talk about it at the last Parks Board meeting, right? So when we met in February, and there was a lot of positive response from the Parks Board about doing something for that particular area. And I thought, and you, Bonnie and Brad, you'd have to correct me if I'm wrong here, but didn't Quinn say that he had been in conversation with him or something? Did I misunderstand that?
No,
that was just last fall. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're correct.
No problem. Nope, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
Okay. The Three Sisters Indigenous Garden. More thoughts on how we move forward with that concept or idea?
Do you want to talk, Cindy?
Yeah, sure. Well, I've been in collaboration with the CFUW, Canadian Federation of University Women, and Daryl Bateman, and I have been working on it. She's getting seeds from an Indigenous gardening group that know a lot about, as well as the University of Guelph is doing something on it. So we really would like to have a collaborative sort of garden of the Three Sisters, and hopefully I wasn't at the meeting last month, so I'm not exactly sure what you decided, but if we could have it down where the boathouse garden is, Quinn agreed to it, but we don't need the whole space because they grow up, right, on the stalks. So I wasn't sure how much space, because Daryl was going to get back to me on what they would like to do. And we don't really need to look after it. There's enough women in CFUW that want to garden and work on it. So, and then Barb also spoke to Loretta McKenna, right, Barb?
Yeah, Lorena. Yeah.
Yeah. So it might be nice, I was thinking, to have a few gardens around around the city that are three sisters, and then we could get those signs made, and depending on where the garden is, we could have our symbol on all of them, because if we agree to it, then it's good publicity for us, but then we would be collaborating with different people.
I just
That was
got
my thought.
pricing on those the corrugated cardboard, plastic corrugated signs. They're about $25 each, just so you know, if you want to put signs at the sisters' gardens. And I've got a really good contact, so.
Yeah.
Really?
Cindy, what about the local? Because you know how they have that community garden that's behind the Dufferin Arena? Because they have all those pots there. I didn't know.
We had a meeting with the local already, and in fact, Deborah spoke at our last meeting, and we talked about that area, Kim. So we're hoping to do something with them as well. And then what we would like is to, everyone grows this, and then the local has suggested that they would create like a fall harvest stew with our food that we've all grown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, they did a meal for CFUW last week, because they have two really great chefs that worked in the industry and now work at the local, and they wanted work. So they created a beautiful dinner, and then it was just takeout, and they just asked for a donation. So if we could organize with them, I thought this harvest meal, that might be a really good opportunity for us to collaborate with them.
And maybe they're a good opportunity for the when the judges come to town.
Right, that's what I was thinking when Brad was talking, because then it shows how we work with others in our community.
The judges in the past have had opportunities to have lunches there, and really enjoyed it. See how the community comes together and how that operation works, because it's pretty amazing.
So what Daryl and I wanted to know was just if CIB was willing to, just you don't have to do the work, but if we could recognize that we are involved in this.
Good to get that logo out there.
Yeah.
Brad, do we have to make a motion to show that support, because it's outside of what our
Yeah, I
normal
was
scope
wondering.
is?
I think that having a motion probably isn't a bad idea, just to say that CIB working in collaboration with.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
Okay, I make that motion.
Definitely second that motion.
Okay.
So whatever Brad said.
That Communities in Bloom working in collaboration with the Canadian Federation of Women. It's Canadian Federation
of University Women, CFUW Stratford.
Right.
As well as the local.
Right. Okay.
So now that I know that that's okay, then I will meet with Daryl, and then she's already organized the seeds and everything. So, and she's getting people in our group to plant it in their gardens. So hopefully this will, I think, I don't know, Barb had mentioned like wooden trellises. I don't know if we should get some or if there's some in the city. Like, I don't know.
They'll know.
What exactly are we growing?
Well,
Sorry.
it's three sisters. It's the corn and the squash and the beans, and it's an indigenous planting. So really the corn stalks are supposed to support the beans that grow up. But Barb was talking to me yesterday and said it might be better to have some kind of wooden, like pyramid trellis. So
at least in the Hope Garden, because it'll make it more of a centerpiece. Make it stand.
So I know CFUW has some money, so maybe if somebody knows of someone who could build one or where we could get a few, that would be helpful.
They usually take driftwood, like, like 3 pieces of driftwood, and they tie it with a rope at the top. That's kind of how they, at least what I've seen.
Okay. I'll see what I can do.
That's a road trip to Bayfield.
Mm,
Oh, to get driftwood. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
long skinny ones.
Yeah. Good idea. Thanks, Kim. Okay. So my image of it would be that like Quinn still has his flowers that he's ordered for down there by the boathouse, right?
Yeah.
But he's going to give us space in the middle for one or two of these.
That's my understanding as well.
Yeah, okay. All right. And then I'll talk to them about getting the sign made.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Barb, was there anything more that we had to do or considering with the David Suzuki Butterfly Rangers program, or is that?
Yeah, I was talking to the Horticultural Society. They've ordered 50 of the little plastic signs saying they're part of the Butterfly Way project, and I've got more than that coming. So once we get them in hand, we can even hand them out at the market. People who are planting for pollinators who want to educate others about their gardens. So I think I ordered 100 signs, so they'll be in hopefully by the market. One quick question for the garden contest. We want to go ahead with that? We really didn't.
Yes.
Would you like me to do the quick application for that then?
You or whoever would like to take the lead on it, Barb. I don't want to necessarily point a finger at you, but if there's anybody else that wants to, because there's one more, like, sorry, I'm just going to throw this out here, then we can discuss. The very last minute notice that I may have or may not have sent to the 2022 Miracle Grow with the date of tomorrow.
That's why you want me to. It's
Well,
not a big.
I'm just asking if there's a committee member who has time to do the application.
We'd want 6 or 12 people, like winners. The more winners, the more work it is.
Yeah. How about we do 6, Barb?
Okay.
My agreement as well, 6.
Yeah, we've always done 12, but again, it's more work prizes than one.
I'm gonna have to bail. I have to do an interview, and then my phone is just ringing. So
We've
sorry,
got-
guys.
Okay,
Gotta go.
thank you.
Nice to
Bye.
I've got to run too, so I have a doctor's appointment at 1:15, so.
Okay. So
Okay.
thank you, Barb. I think we're okay with everything that's been assigned. So you're going to do the application for the 2022 Miracle Grow, and thank you. Okay.
Nope. Oh, one other quick question. Bernie has a project he's working on. He's getting some signs made like our Hope is Growing that we had last year, that we had in all our gardens. He's going to be giving plants to the high schools, maybe Lorena McKennett's area. He is purchasing the signs, and I was just wondering if it was something Communities in Bloom would like to purchase for him and become part of that project. They're $25 each. I think he wants them in 6 areas. One of them will be Ted's garden, I'm sure. Whether or not we'd like to, like, he's going to pay for them if he wants, but I just thought it might be something we could do for him.
Just back it up again. The signs are what, Barb?
Okay, there's signs and they say hope on them. And he wants to give little hope gardens to both high schools. I think Avondale Church is one, Lorena McKennett's property is another. He's got 6 areas.
It's not advertising for anybody else, it just says hope.
Yeah, and you know the Hope is Growing ones we had last year from Communities in Bloom? Like the ones they were in all our gardens, the big ones. So he's purchasing some like that for this year.
Okay.
And
Well, I don't think a private citizen needs to take on that responsibility if it's continuation of a initiative that we started. Hope is Growing is part of Communities in Bloom. It's what we started. We didn't start, but the organization started. So I don't, as much as I appreciate Bernie offering to do it, and it's not a great expense, I think it fits more into our public mandate to do something like that. So
like he's got tulips that are going to grow in the front of in the word hope. So probably one of them will go there. Anyway, they're being ordered now, but I just thought rather than him pay for it, if Communities in Bloom would, it'd be about $200.
okay.
Brad,
Yes, Casey.
Just before we get too far into the season and ordering stuff, last year was kind of our grace year for reimbursements. But just before anybody buys anything, they will not be reimbursing anybody. So if anyone goes ahead and pays for something, it's going to be difficult. So I'm just thinking with the signs, and Barb, if you have the contact for the signs, if right out of the gates we have an account set up and it can just come to here, just I don't want somebody to go buy something at Canadian Tire or do something and then in turn they're not going to get their money back.
Okay, so they have to invoice
The city of Stratford. Yeah.
Stratford.
That's
Yeah.
happening, Casey. Do you know?
Pardon?
You know why that's happening?
Well, it's technically always supposed to be that. It's from finance. It's to do with auditing and paying members of advisory committees. They need a paper trail to come in form of an invoice with an HST number.
Okay, and there's logic in that.
Yeah.
So Barb, if we could, before Bernie goes any further in this conversation, I think it is, I believe it's appropriate that Communities in Bloom continues on with the Hope initiative. And if Bernie could simply, do the legwork with doing the gardens, I think is great. If we could have whoever's doing the signs to invoice it to City of Stratford Communities in Bloom. And then that way we can make a motion here to approve up to $200 or $250, including HST.
It's $100, $18 delivery and whatever taxes on that. So it's about $200.
Okay, so up to $200 to purchase Hope signs for the 2022 year.
Because those are gardens that would be nice to take the judges to.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
So that motion was made by Barb.
Okay,
And it was seconded by Mary Ann. And is there any discussion further on the Hope signs that will be invoiced to the City of Stratford Communities in Bloom organization? No? All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey, for bringing that up about invoices because, yeah, I think we've created a lot of work for the city and the city created a lot of work for us because I know Cindy and I had to go back and get receipts from where we got them and they got lost. And I'm sure that's why they want them just.
Yeah. And so I'll just say it again, just so that we all, because there will be probably lots of invoices this year with the judges and stuff. We need to make sure that the invoices are to the City of Stratford.
And they can always get emailed to me. So if that just makes it easier at the time and you just give them my email, they can, whether it says Communities in Bloom or City of Stratford.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
it should be earmarked specific Communities in Bloom so that we know exactly what it's going for.
So if anyone's not doing it,
There'd be an
like-
issue with some stores that won't do that. I can't see Canadian Tire doing that.
no. Clomps and Cosines will. Those are the only ones that. But if you buy anything online, it's a real hassle. Like even if you can get something half price online, you still end up having to go somewhere where they can invoice properly. Anyway, I've got to run. We'll talk to you later.
Bye, Barb.
I don't believe there's any other new business unless someone else has anything they wish to bring forward. No? Okay. Our next meeting date is Thursday, April the 7th. And if there's nothing further, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Kimberly and second by Linda. All in favor? And that is carried.